What's going on, everybody? It's your man Chuck Creekmur, aka Jigsaw, with allhiphop.com. We are sitting here with a pair of legends. We got Bobby Digital, aka the RZA, aka Bobby Digital, and DJ Scratch, the legend, the turntable master, the wizard, the king. You know what I'm saying? On those ones and twos, right here at All Hip Hop. What's going on, gentlemen?
Peace.
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, man?
I've been bumping y'all's new project all day today. You know, really absorbing it and taking it all in. So kind of give everybody the rundown on this project, what it is, you know, and how it came about too.
I'm gonna let Scratch spark this one right here.
Well, you know, when the pandemic first started, was declared in March 2020, RZA reached out to me like about a month later, you know, just to check on me. You know what I mean? Because, you know, it was crazy at that time. So he was just reaching out to check on me, check on my health and my mental health and all of that. And I'm like, yo, it's kind of crazy, but I'm good, you know. It's time to be a soldier right now, you know what I mean? Because we don't know what's going on. So he was like, yo, man, I was going through my hard drives and I found this beat that you gave us for 8 Diagrams album. You still got that beat? So he described the beat. I'm like, yeah, I got that. I got that joint. He was like, yo, man, I wanna be an MC again, man. Like, you wanna do an album together? I'm like, hell yeah, you know. It's like, you know, who says no to that from the RZA? So I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So he was like, yeah, send that beat. So I'm like, yo, better yet, you know, I was trying to get verses from different Wu-Tang members throughout the years to do like a Wu-Tang project, you know, like a salute to Wu-Tang project. So I only got a beat. I mean, I only got a verse from Raekwon. I couldn't track everybody else down. So, and I made beats, just strictly Wu-Tang style beats. So when I couldn't get that project done, I just put those beats away. So I told RZA, I said, yo, I got a whole beat album. I got a whole beat album that I was gonna put out because I couldn't get the verses from everybody. So I was just gonna put out a beat album and call it If the Wu Was Here. So I got a whole Wu-Tang instrumental beat album. And he was like, send it to me. And I sent them those beats, and like about 3-4 months later, he sent back that magic on them beats.
Bong. You know, and like you said, you know, being trapped up in the quarantine, you know, for some of us, of course, it was tough, tragic, and a lot of people suffered doing that, but then some of us had a chance to reconnect to ourselves. And for me, it gave me a chance to reconnect to that lyrical side of myself. And having Scratch, having all those dope tracks, and then putting on the producer hat and me taking off the producer hat, like I ain't got to think about that. It allowed me to just really put together some words and some lyrics that I think is good food for thought, good hip hop entertainment. And you know, we named it Saturday Afternoon Kung Fu Theater because we want you to kind of feel like that, like how it was when we was children at 3 o'clock on Saturdays. I don't care if you was scrambling, I don't care if you was hustling, I don't care if you was break dancing, whatever you was doing, you left the block, went up into the crib and watched those movies, and you got that moment of entertainment in your day. Then you came back out and shared it with your peoples, right? That's what this album is for us. It's like, you know, it's a quick 25-minute long piece of art that, you know, maybe get up in the morning, get your day started, or work out with it, or drive home from work, whatever it is. So, but it's definitely to give you a moment of escapism, as well as feeding you some dope hip hop and some dope lyrical content.
Now, I wanted to ask y'all a funny question, because I know this is definitely the truth with me. But did y'all think y'all knew Kung Fu or karate after watching some of those flicks? How did y'all
Listen, man, every time we came outside after one of those movies, my whole Albany projects, every building, all 9 buildings, we was outside jumping off the fence, all kind of shit, breaking our legs and arms, thinking we was, you know, we knew Kung Fu.
Taking mom's broomstick and making new chucks or something.
Yeah, all that. And we went to Canal Street and got the Chinese slippers, the ones with the brown soles.
Right.
Like we really lived that shit. Like, and the crazy shit was, we always, you know, on Canal Street, they always had the Chinese slippers, the black ones with the brown sole, but we never could find the ones that Bruce Lee had with the white sole.
Mm-hmm.
I just got a pair from my man in Austin. Austin, Texas. He sent me the white joints.
Nice.
When the album drop, I'm wearing them shits all day. This Friday, I'll be having on. I'm gonna post some shits too. I'm gonna have on my Bruce Lee Kung Fu Chinese slippers.
Shoot, okay.
With the white sole.
Now, let me ask y'all this. I personally kind of gravitated more to the Japanese side of things. I was dressing up as ninjas. I had, you know what I mean? I was into the samurai culture, the codes and things like that. Why are we, but obviously I still watch Kung Fu on Saturdays and Sunday mornings, but what is it about the Kung Fu and even beyond just the fighting and things like that that we find so magical?
I mean, well, also the Japanese is part of it as well. You know, Kung Fu is the foundation. It migrated over to Japan and became karate and Jiu-Jitsu. Chan Buddhism migrated over to Japan and became Zen Buddhism. But the foundation of it actually started in South India, you know what I mean? And then they traced that back to Africa and back to Egypt and ancient cultures. And so the warrior culture, the honor culture, the chivalry, the upholding of righteousness, the perfection of self. In order to be a martial artist, you have to perfect yourself, control your body and your mind. I think those aspects were important to us in our community, and I think subconsciously we was absorbing it. You know, when we saw Bruce Lee able to stand up and fight for his culture against, you know, a dozen soldiers, that inspire us. When we see Sonny Chiba, you know what I mean, breaking a brick with his hand, you know what I mean? It's an ability we want to obtain. We see the ninja able to scale a wall, move stealthily through the community and cause some havoc, you know what I mean? That's inspiring us too. So all these cultures are inspiring us the same way comic books was inspiring us, the same way superheroes were inspiring us.
Absolutely.
And honestly, man, like those movies, the Kung Fu movies, the Kung Fu side of things, it actually made me a better DJ. Because when I would watch, I can't remember which Gordon Liu movie it was, maybe 36 Chambers or Return of the 36 Chambers, when they were going up the steps and they had to carry the water.
Water, yeah.
And they had the daggers on their biceps, and if they dropped the water, it'll stab them, you know, in the side. So basically, you're building up arm strength. I tried that concept in the house. Like, you know, my brother had a pair of turntables, right? And when I tell you this shit resonates today. This is how I built my muscle memory. Have you ever seen videos of me posting and I'm needle dropping, leaving the fader in the middle and picking the needle up and dropping it on the break? On beat, no headphones, no nothing. That was from that training. I would put 5-pound ankle weights around my wrist because I wanted to. The turntables my brother had, they were like Technique B101s, straight on. They were part of the rack systems. So you couldn't cut on those, you know what I'm saying? So your hands is too heavy to cut on them. So by me watching the Kung Fu movies and things that they would do to make them be able to jump higher or build arm strength, I said, let me try this shit. Let me try it. So I would put 5-pound ankle weights on each arm and practice every day on those terrible turntables for months. And maybe like after 4 or 5 months, I took them off and was able to scratch on those terrible turntables without the needle jumping. Because having that weight on my wrist, it made my touch lighter and it made my hands faster, and it actually worked. And that muscle memory exists to this day. So when people ask me like, yo, how the hell do you know how to do that? It was from watching Kung Fu movies.
Wow, that's crazy. That's dope. Yeah, I think we all applied some aspects of that in our day-to-day, but that sounds like next level for sure. Give us, if y'all can, top if somebody like kids today don't necessarily know about these Kung Fu movies. Give people like top 3 to 5 movies that they gotta see.
I'll start off, like he said, with that first one. You got to see Into the 36 Chambers of Shaolin, right? The 36 Chambers of Shaolin, you got to watch that because that one will give you a lot of philosophy, a lot of action, and a lot of training techniques. I pass Scratch for the second one.
Second one, I would say Into the Dragon, Bruce Lee.
Yeah, you got to watch that. That's the foundation. And then if you could add a third one, just to take you to the fantastical world, you got to watch Five Deadly Venoms. You know what I mean? And if you kind of get those three chambers in your head, you kind of get in the template of where the martial arts go. And also you're getting three great directors. Mm-hmm. All three of those directors are legendary directors, and they all have dozens of films in their catalog. If you follow those directors, you'll find a lot of great movies.
No. Let me ask both of y'all a question. Which Venom would you be?
Snap.
I already said in my lyric, I'm number 4, the lizard. Stand close to walls like number 4, the lizard. And that, maybe because he survived it all, but you know what I mean? Number 4, the lizard.
Yo, same here. Lizard.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I choose lizard.
Yeah. See, I don't have a choice, man, because I'm still tapped in with Sho Kosugi, man. Like, I ain't gonna lie with you.
You want some pray for death.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, yo, they got a new Sho Kosugi. They got his Criterion did the new restoration of all those movies, so you could get them on Blu-ray, and you know what I mean, and share them with the family or people who missed it. You know what I mean? I got those in the crib now.
Yeah, I remember way back when GZA's first album dropped, and he had sampled Shogun Assassin, and I knew about it, but I didn't know where to get it. Yo, GZA straight fronted on me, man. I asked him where to get that from. He wouldn't tell me. I was like, yo, I was still in Delaware at the time, so I had no idea where to
Well, keep in mind that, you know, GZA don't make the beats, so he didn't sample that. That was me. So he didn't have a copy either. He got that. He had to come to me, and you may have gotten closer to the target, all right?
No doubt. Now, how Scratch, how hard was it? You know, I caught that you were producing in a Wu-Tang fashion. How difficult was that, if at all, and how difficult was it producing for the RZA, who is a producer? Like, did you have that in the back of your mind that he's going to be judging it or anything like that?
No, because we've worked on a few Wu-Tang tracks in the past. So, you know, what's the last joint we did together was the Showtime documentary of Mics and Men. The first single on the soundtrack, I produced that, which features Ghost and RZA. So, you know, so I was already locked in and understood the sound. So it wasn't any pressure, anything like that. It was just dope to produce an album for a super producer. Because, like, for example, there's the song called Never Love Again. When he first heard the beat, he knew what the sample was. You don't, when you do a song for an artist, when you give an artist a beat, they don't know what the sample is. So as soon as I played him the beat, it's like, yo, that's Love Story. I'm like, damn, that's right. Yeah, that is Love Story. So he wrote a love story to the Love Story sample. You know what I mean? So it was pretty magical. You know what I mean?
Right. Facts. Yo, RZA, first of all, give folks that may not know, I go all the way back to the original Bobby Digital projects and everything, but for those that are just tapping in, give them a lowdown on who Bobby Digital is as a character, and I want to know personally, why are they still at odds? Why is Bobby Digital still at odds with the RZA?
Well, you know, at the end of the day, as an artist, you know what I mean, you find different ways to express yourself. Bobby Digital was a character born in the studio one night. After all my success, I felt like I was kind of clogged up with enjoying success, you know what I mean? Because, you know, during my success period, I was very, very mature. So Bobby gave me a chance to be more childlike, more freer, and a little bit of more, you know, some inhibitions was, you know, was let loose. But, and then RZA, though, you know, RZA has to stay focused, you know what I mean? He's an avid. And so I created a character to give me an outlet of things that wouldn't kind of match the personality of the Abbott. You know what? I don't think I told people this, but I'll just share this and whatever it goes. Really, when I saw Robert De Niro do Cape Fear, I'm like, okay. Because, you know what I mean, he's always playing certain characters, right? But this character was savage. And I was like, yo, you know, even though we know hip hop we was pushing keep it real, keep it real, keep it real, we're still artists, right? And every one of our names, Grandmaster Flash, you know what I mean? Big Daddy Kane, you know what I mean? KRS-One, these are names that we adapted. So we are adapting personas for ourselves. But I was like, yo, I could do that multiple times. And I've done it multiple times. I was already Prince Rakeem. I was already Prince Dynamite. Like, I could create something else to express myself. And so that's what I did. And the odds they're at is it's like, yo, every man has inside himself a struggle between good and bad, or a struggle between up and down, or a struggle between, you know, some people just struggle between just how to stay on a diet, right? So that's that natural conflict is something that artistically I found a way to name it and depict them to oppose each other as well as complement each other.
Okay. I got a question for both y'all. Who would win a battle, Prime Wu-Tang or Prime Hit Squad?
Wow. Shit.
I'm not gonna answer that one. You know what I mean? I let you. That's something you gotta decipher. And if Scratch want to answer, he can. But I'll let you decipher that.
That's a great question. That's a great question. I'm just thinking. That's a great fucking question. We need to pose that to the public.
You got your next verses now, Scratch? Like, yo, wait a minute.
Yeah. I'm about to call Swiss. You know?
The thing about it is that, in all reality, between those two crews, it's actually, they have the most cross-pollination in all reality. I mean, Redman is his squad, but he's intertwined with Wu-Tang, you know what I mean? In the early days of me trying to form Wu-Tang, you know what I mean? Eric and Paris, especially Eric, will come to Staten Island, you know what I mean? And he's seen us in our infant stage trying to do it, and he was someone that, you know, that saw it early, that was like, yo, I remember telling him, yo, they're dope. We was trying to like maybe sign to them and work with them because they had a vibe that was matching our vibe, you know, keeping it from the streets, coming from those islands. So it's been the most cross-pollination, I think, is those two crews. So that's why, you know, Keith Murray, you know what I mean, as well, you know, always, you know, it's been a lot of cross-pollination, I would say. Okay. That's not publicized besides the Redman of it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, that was a trick question. I wasn't gonna ask it like that, and then I said, let me throw a curveball. But was Wu-Tang? I never forget Raekwon saying, and I don't know how true this was, but it's basically saying part of the reason the crew formed was they had somebody for everybody in the hit squad. How true is that in a you know, battle MC form? Maybe not battle so much, but more maybe just an MC form.
I mean, Raekwon as an MC, if he saw it that way, it makes total sense. I mean, the hit squad was ripping it. So, you know, they had 4 or 5 MCs, maybe even 6 if you go after you go, you got K Solo in there too, right? Redman,
yep.
Eric.
Das Effects.
That's 6. Who else?
Yeah.
Who somebody?
Yeah.
They had Hurricane G.
Hurricane Gloria, yeah.
So they had some numbers, but we had numbers and some left over at the end of the day. It's like 9 MCs, you know what I mean? Who you never know who's going to be the one that's throwing that dunk in. But they definitely, you know, you go to his squad, you go back to the Juice Crew. These are, you know, you go back to the Native Tongue with Tribe and Jungle Brothers and all that. You know, they weren't all one crew. They were combinations of crews that became a squad. I guess with Wu-Tang, it was like, nah, this is one crew, one group. And that made it probably a little bit more unique, but also definitely hard to defeat if you was going to go pound for pound. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to get through us. If you bring the whole Juice Crew, you still got more dudes over here waiting. You know what I mean? So,
Thanks.
you know, I said a lyric on like I like using lyrics to describe, right? So, and then I think in the lyrics of all of us, you'll find ways that we're expressing ourselves. But one, I start off saying Shabama Lama. What the hell is that? But that's the slang. That's that slang. Shabama Lama, hammer, grammar, slammer. Nothing new to this. Shaolin Kung Fu, Wu-Tang pugilist, yellow, blue diamonds, black Buddha beads, circle wrists. You attack me from the back. That was foolishness. We moved together as one, like a school of fish.
School of fish.
Poison needle shot. You try to block it, it went through your wrists. 18 low hand strike. This is laughing Buddha fists. Butterfly knives. Lightning strike you like a cumulus. Overthrow your quotes. Snatch your throat like tuberculosis. In 2020 quarantine, I'll develop perfect focus. Winter green limousine, rhinestone denim jeans. Used to play with triple beams, but now I'm in the simple things.
Simple things.
You know what I mean? So point being made, in the lyrics, it's all in there for us, to describe our content, and to play with words in ways that makes us unique MCs. And as a MC here with DJ Scratch doing all the production, it felt so much fun for me to not only put on 2 different characters, but to lyrically be free and have fun on the microphone and play with words.
So, we have a couple more minutes. I want to ask you guys quickly about the present day of hip hop. And I've posed this to a few legends and also younger artists. Are we in I hate to say this because it always gives it a bad connotation, but I'm gonna say it. Do you guys think it's possible that we're in a new golden age of creation in hip hop? Creativity?
Of course it's possible. Why wouldn't it be?
Of sorts.
Pardon?
It's possible, and I would say more on the technical side for me.
Okay.
And for me, it's like, yo, every generation gotta have a voice, yo. And the ones who are the strongest in that generation with the best voice, they're gonna move on to the next generation. It's just like, it's a lot of us from our generation, but not a lot of us still have a voice or a platform, and not because we weren't good then, but at the end of the day, there's an evolution that will happen. You know what I mean? Some people are going to continue like, oh, wow, like DJ Scratch, he know 1,000 DJs as he was growing up, but none at his level. You know what I mean? Maybe a dozen at his level. You see what I mean? So when you see a generation giving us, like if we think about our Malcolm X, our Dr. Kings, our Stokely Carmichaels, Muhammad Ali, you're still going to have a handful of people, right? But it was a lot of people in that struggle, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? So, and I want to say one last thing, yo, because one thing about hip hop that we've made a mistake in was we try to find separations in it. And no other music does that. You don't say East Coast rock and roll, West Coast rock and roll. Every once in a while you may get alternative and all that, but you don't get this territorial, you don't get this age gap. The Rolling Stones,
and we don't say, and we're the only ones that say old in our music. We say old school. You don't hear old school rock. You hear old school, you know what I'm saying? Like folk music is just whatever the music is.
Yeah, so we need to snap out of that. And then, just like us as mature men, we got to pay attention what the youth are doing, because the youth are the ones who carries the torch further than those who done it already. They're going to continue to go when our day passed. But the youth got to always take heed to that which was in front of them. The Holy Quran says man's biggest flaw is he don't take heed.
Right.
And I just tell everybody, yo, take heed, yo. Pay attention to both sides of the coin.
Okay, last question. We're doing a special project on hip hop saving the generation of hip hop. And that's kind of contradictory, but would you guys say that hip hop saved your lives, your life?
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Can you explain that a little bit, expound on it?
Just being where we from, you know what I mean? I'm from Brooklyn, Albany Projects, seen it all, done it all, but, in that street, heavy in the 80s, you know what I mean? Once I got an opportunity to go on tour, Run DMC, I left the streets alone and never looked back. So hip hop definitely saved my life.
And the same for me, it saved my life, from multiple levels. We were you know, we were also street dudes and caught up in crime and violence, you know what I mean? And hip hop became the way to express that violence without harming somebody else. So we could say bring the ruckus, you know what I mean? Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with, you know what I mean? Chop your head off, son, protect your neck. We could say all that, and we could verbalize that same energy. In fact, I know for me, I used to be super aggressive, yo. Like they used to have to, like I used to be like my temper was ridiculously uncontrollable. I'd yell in the church, I'd yell in the class, like, you know what I mean? Because it was all this bottled up energy. And that's why you hear the first Wu-Tang album, you hear me, there's no place to hide when I stop. It's like, so hip hop and music allowed me to get it out in a form that was healthy, safe, and inspirational. And I'll say this last thing, hip hop not only saved my life, as Scratch said, saved his life, hip hop saved the Black community, and it's saving communities all around the world now, not just Black communities, you know what I mean? And not just New York, West Coast, East Coast, it's global, yo. You know, you see our South African brothers having better chances at life and opportunities. You see our Ghana brothers having it. You see our brothers down in Brazil, South America. I got brothers that's over in Eastern Europe. You know what I mean? That hip hop has become something that motivated them, inspired them, and even economically provided for them.
Yeah, facts. Appreciate you, brothers, man. This is a great project. I wanted to quote more from the album, but we got time constraints. Maybe we'd do it again. But definitely, man. And I just want to say this too. I appreciate that you and others like Nas, you know, Kool G Rap is on his way back. He's got some hot joints out. Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One is got a new album that just dropped. It's really good to see brothers and sisters still putting out high quality material that we can bump. And I'm gonna try to bring some of my friends along because some of them are in their waves and it's hard to get them to come out the 80s, the 90s, and when they were younger, but it's here. It's all here. It's still here. Good to talk to you. And man, I appreciate y'all.
Respect.
Thank you, Chuck.